Hello, everyone. Welcome to All In on Real Estate. I'm your host, Aaron Goins. I started this meetup because when I was in the military, no one in my circle talked about real estate. A lot of times we talked about finances, but nothing about real estate. And I wanted to start a meetup where people can learn about real estate, the different niches in real estate, and start building generational wealth for them and their family. So I want to welcome my guest speaker today, Mr. Derrick Young. How you doing, Derrick?
I am so motherfucking awesome. I cannot stand it. How about you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. I see me matching with my gray shirts on too, man. So
Yeah, I know, man. Look, I
yeah.
almost, I almost broke out the pinstripe, man.
Oh man, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't really got a lot of pinstripes, you know what I'm saying, in my arsenal. All right, man. Let's rock and roll, man. Let me ask you the first question I ask everybody. How did you get started in real estate?
So it was a family friend. So he was wanting to. He told me about real estate because I was really big on stock. And so he was like, man, no, you need to really take up on real estate. And so I was like, no, I'm good, man. So he started talking some numbers. And so I said, well, I'll take a look at it. And so I started doing some research on wholesaling and, what the industry looked like and what the potential could be. And so about it took me a good 3 to 4 years to really take it serious and really make a move. And just from a family friend, that's how I got started. And then I took the reins from there.
So when you first got started, up to let's say the midway point of your real estate career, what was the lessons learned during that time frame?
Oh man, I would have went about it a different way because I wanted to quit, man. Because it seemed like you spend so much money on stuff, and then you think the system is broke, but then is you that's really the one that's broken that has the issues. And so the midway point is I really didn't even see any traction in the midway. I just knew that I learned a lot, and I knew more than I did. So that was the most important piece, is that I knew more. And so since I knew more, then I could kind of proceed. And so as I got closer to that point, I started to meet different people, and then I had certain guidances, and it just took me along the way from there.
All right. So what did you learn? Okay. Did you get a mentor during that time framing like that?
No, I was all solo, man. I did everything all solo.
So when did you get a mentor? When what part of the process did you get a mentor?
After I got my first property,
Okay.
that's
So
when I
what
got my.
so how did a mentor enhance your career?
So the mentor really enhanced my career because they knew more than I did. And so I could go to them and ask them certain questions. And so because after we got the property, I felt like that was more that I could do. I could purchase more and I could acquire more because I had already did it. So and the thing is that I did it out of state. So that was the plus too. And so, but I just felt like I was stuck. Like, what was I doing? And so I paid for another course because mind you, this whole time I had been paying for different real estate courses. And so it comes a time where you got to stop taking the courses, where you got to put in action what you've learned. And so that's when I was like, man, I'm stopping purchasing anything else, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do the work, and then once I do the work, we'll just go from there. And so that's what happened. I just said I'm not gonna buy another thing. I'm just gonna make this thing work, and then just go from there.
Sorry about that. So was it like an aha moment? Did you like after maybe the first or two properties, where is it something that really clicked with you that really motivated you? Was you just purely motivated by real estate, or was it you know was it something else?
So I don't think it was something else per se. I think it was all about the money first. But then I was like, it's more to it than just money because it's people's lives that you're dealing with. So have an impact on somebody's life, then you can make more money. And so as I started to care, that care put me down a different road where it's like I started doing more networking and really asking a bunch of questions. Where once I started asking a bunch of questions, then I started to get a lot of deal flow. And the administrators of the coursework that I was taking, they started sending me students to mentor. And I was like, so it might be something to this. So then my administrators actually paired me up with my now partners. And so we still rocking, man. And what that looked like is that showed me that they had a lot of money, and I had the experience. I had some assets as well, but I was able to create relationships with different entities. And so they were wanting to know my now partners at the time. See that they're Filipinos, and so it's a uncle and a nephew. And so they were trying to figure out why couldn't they build relationships. And so when I figured it out, because it was like a tug of war thing when we first got together. So we kind of went old school because I was like, man, look, if we're gonna partner up, I'm gonna need some contract signed, I'm gonna need this and I'm gonna need that. And so the guy was like, he was like, well, let's just wait and see how this goes because if we don't like each other, at least we'll have a clean break. So I said, you know what? I gotta roll the dice and I gotta take a risk on it because at this point, I'm not losing anything, just time, but I'm getting good experience though, because working with partners. And so what ended up happening, we're still partners with no contracts signed. All of this is just word of mouth. Our word is our bond, but you can't always be like that. But in this instance, we were able to come together and they saw my talent, like being able to negotiate, finding deals, being relatable to others. And so that's what I brought to the table, being able to structure certain deals and having a conversation and being able to approach tough situations, but in a professional manner where all sides feel comfortable.
Love it, man. Love it, man. I think that's cool right there. That you and your partner have had that understanding. So to dig in a little bit into that, how has having a partner enhanced your career?
Man, because no man is an island. Rome was not built in one day. I know how I am. I love what I do, and I just stick to my lane, and that's relations and understanding financing. And so each of us, we all have a role. And so this is my main partnership, but then I do have other partnerships, and then with the one-on-one coaching and the mentorship, that's separate. And so it's different entities that we have, but this main partnership, it's been a blessing, and I can't even say in disguise, but I didn't know that I would find these guys, they will be sent my way, but I felt like I put enough work in to be able to have a break where you have a one partner who has a lot of money, where you have one partner who's good at math, and that you have another partner who can find capital, and who can do the negotiations and who can do your relationships building during an off market campaign. And so we were able to segment uh, everything to get to this point. And so what I've done is I've taken what I've learned from that partnership, package it up, and then I'm able to present this. And then, like, if I'm going on speaking engagements or speaking on other platforms, I'm able to share my story just like I'm about to share with you guys. So it's been really really helpful because it has accelerated my growth. And so when I say accelerated, so just imagine you're one person trying to do all of that and you still have a W-2. Like, that's frustrating. Like, you're trying to learn everything, you're trying to do the underwriting, and it's frustrating. I'm not good at underwriting, but however, my business partner is good at underwriting. Now, I like looking at the conclusion of the underwriting because I can then make suggestions on, okay, all right, well, you got too much expenditures over here. What's your OpEx, and what are these expenses doing here? So you can question that. And so I stick to what I'm good at. I don't try and take over the underwriting because that's not my department. So, but I can make suggestions after the fact. I can make suggestions if we're going to a lender. All right, let's look at the terms and see what's going on, because that's what I do. I stick to my lane and not try and take over.
I think that's so important, sticking to your lane and not trying to take over and try to be overwhelming and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, it's a true partnership. I think that's great. That's great right there, man. Because like you said, doing everything by yourself is me very, very frustrating, very, very frustrating and time consuming. And we don't have infinite time. So I think that's awesome right there. Um, all right, so we kind of talked about this on the clubhouse room. What what is some of your experiences or like you like to share about your craft of fixing and flipping and things like that?
When I first got into it, man, I was excited, but then when I got into it, I was like, man, this ain't too fun because so much can go wrong. And but I figured out a cheat code. So what I did was I partnered up with an experienced flipper, somebody who had more years than I did. And so what ended up happening is he was able to pretty much just accelerate my skill set because I was multifamily. And my mentors, they told me, they said, well, hey, don't focus on doing anything with single family because you can make more money in multifamily. So I went against everything that they told me to do. And so what ended up happening is we were doing some off market campaign and sending out letters and mailers and stuff. And we would get houses back. And I'm like, well, I got all these houses and I'm turning them down. And so, coming from the stock market, you listen to what the market is telling you. And so the market was telling me that, hey, there are a lot of houses that are coming through that you're losing money on, right? And so what ended up happening is I was then able to uh, come up with a plan to include the single family homes along with the multifamily. And what that looked like is I had to partner with someone who knew about single family. So this guy's an appraiser, experienced flipper. And that relationship, I took his course, and it just seemed like it was how it happened. It wasn't weird, but it was weird because you don't find scenarios or situations like that. So when people say, well, hey, can you make money, or can you participate in real estate without using your own money or credit? Yes, true statement, because I've done it and I'm doing it now. So in this particular house that I'm in right now, we're flipping it. So it's on the market now. So we got it staged. So not any of my own money that came out. I didn't use any of my credit. Partnered up with somebody that had money, used him, leveraged his experience as well, brought my experience as well, and then just went from there.
Mm, okay. Okay. Um, all right. So let me ask you a couple more questions. I'm open for the audience to ask you. What is your next 5 years looking like for you? You project.
Uh, my next 5 years. I don't know. I'm kind of different in regards to like what do I don't know. I know I wanted to get more commercial units, but I did want to have like 1,000 doors at one point, because see we got some long-term rentals and we got some short-term rentals, but I'm kind of backing off of the long term and focusing on getting into the luxury short-term rental space versus um getting more doors. So I'd rather have less doors and then um be able to acquire and collect more income from the luxury brands and not have a lot of moving parts.
Okay. And then um what biggest lesson you can talk to the audience about that you learned that um overall that you can just share with people to give them some hope, and maybe it's something that you had and that you, like you said before, you wish that you didn't do, or just a learning experience altogether.
Right. The biggest lesson that I have is finding the right partners. Making sure you making sure you partnering up with the right people, because when people see that you have a certain status, they'll try and use that against you, and then they'll use and abuse you. So you got to be careful with who you partner up with and where you're getting your information from.
Okay. All right. Man, I mean, just thank you, man. I'm open up for the audience to ask you questions. If anybody has a question for Derek, please ask away.
Hey, Derek, how you doing? My name is Lawrence. Great presentation. Thank you for taking time out. You say partners and be careful your partner. What are some of the things you ask your partners? The questions you ask your partners, get some information about them. Or what do you do? How do you go about that?
So what you do is you ask, what is their superpowers? Because like even in connecting with people, what I do is, instead of just getting straight to the business, I'll ask and say, what are your superpowers? What are your hobbies? Even before you get to the business, because you can learn a lot about a person if they like sports, or if they're a foodie, if they like plants, pets. Like you can learn a whole lot about a person's demeanor just based off of their character. And that's what I focus on, because really, if you're always dealing with business, right, um you can get stuck in a moment where you really can't see, and all you're doing is just talking about business. So I own a virtual assistant company, right, and it's based out in the Philippines. So I don't call them virtual assistants, I call them virtual partners, because they make decisions just like I make decisions. And when I first bought the company, the biggest problem that I had with them is that I'm giving you power to make a decision, and they would always feel so needy. And I had to tell them, hey, is it gonna cost me money? But you making this decision? No, sir. So you give them the power and authority to make certain decisions just as long as it doesn't cost you money. So I'm kind of different when it comes to that. So but just kind of breaking down the monotony and not being traditional in the sense of what we normally do, right? Because we'll say do an interview. I'm like, just skip the questions, And I tell people this whether I'm talking to my white counterparts, if I'm in the hood, look, guys, I'm from the hood, so let's just because see that brings a factor of because people will sometimes say, oh well, I know you had a great upbringing. Yeah, from the inner city. So I can take what I learned from the inner city, bring those two worlds together, and you can get a good read out on a person because a person thinks that you're going to want to be structured and ask them these important questions. But if you can kind of get somebody at ease if you say, hey, well, did you catch that game last night? And their response, well, no, I didn't. Well, I didn't either. I just wanted to know. And you can really get people comfortable with you. And so that's what you want at the end of the day, creating relationships and not being transactional.
Hi, this is Peggy.
Hey, Miss Peggy.
I put it on mute. I put it on mute because she was
I know.
Brandon asks, what do you think is overrated in a partner, and what would be a underrated trait of a partner?
What's overrated in a partner is somebody that's just caught in themselves. So if you have a partner that's always talking about themselves and yes, I do this and I'm great and I'm this and I'm that, run far away from 'em. Very, very far, because that relationship it won't last long. It won't last long at all. Mm. And then what was the second question?
Uh, what would be a underrated trait of a partner?
I don't know because I don't know. You have to be more specific about that. I don't know what would be an underrated rated piece with a partner.
Well, this might my question may be a little bit related. Um, in evaluating your own personal skill sets, how much of it was based off of your results versus your own personal evaluation of your performance? How did you come to the conclusion of what your personal superpower is?
You just had to get in there and do the work. And whatever you love doing, do it. So for instance, I don't like underwriting. And when I say I do not like underwriting, I was so frustrated where it's like I almost quit real estate because of it. But I'm stubborn. And when I say I'm stubborn from the standpoint is that I like I'm OCD and I don't give up. And so oh hey, well, we need to be talking there, Brent. uh but it's you'll know you had this feeling right. And so I tried it and I tried it and I tried it and I was like, this ain't working. And you sometimes you just have to walk away, but try things just because you think you might not like it. Just try it. So one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I got started is not raising capital. And if I had have done that, because they said always be raising capital, always be meeting people, because you never know how people can help you and get you to that next step just by having a conversation. So like earlier today, we were on a it was a mastermind for different podcasters, and so it was about 40 of us on there. And I got on and I said, well, hey, and I was one of the first because the lead moderator, he's been on the jam session, and it was so good to hear him talk uh, uh, about us and the things that we're doing. And I almost forgot that I was doing all of the stuff that he said. And it's like, that's how you know that you can make an impact on somebody by the things that you do. And you don't have to remind people what you do. And he sang our praises, and he was like, man, the jam session, man, it's awesome. And he was saying that when you get there, you got to make sure that you get ready. You got to stretch because you're gonna dance and you're gonna learn. And oh, and he said, oh yeah, you got to remind them of your show and everything. And I'm like, wow, this guy is really reminding me of all of these things that we're doing. And you want to get to a space and a place where you don't have to always tell people what you do, but the next person can be your cheerleader or your hype man. And so how I got to this point, and then I go back to your question, how I got to this point is I was doing a presentation. I love talking. I love overcoming any objections. I love handling problems with solutions. And a young lady heard me do a presentation. So I was already speaking, but not at the level that I'm speaking now. And she said, well, hey, what do you think about facilitating a class? And so I was like, yeah, I would love to do that. And so she gave me the topic. And that really gave me, I don't know what, it's this feeling like you have a sense of knowing your purpose and what you were supposed to do. And it's like I had an awakening that I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing this. People need to hear me speak because I have ideas, I have techniques for them to get through their wall. And when people tell me what their problems are, I smile because I already see it. I'm already thinking 20 steps ahead of them. And I don't know why or how it is, or if I was dropped on my head when I was a baby. And I just smile because I see things further along than others do. And so the question was that you asked, Jordan, is how do you know what you're good at? So you don't until you do. So you could be good at making phone calls. You could be good at uh, making relationships or finding deals, but you will never know until you try. And it has to be a habit that is formed within you. And then, however, you need to find out others that are doing the same thing that you do, and then ask them for tips and techniques. And it's a constant process in perfecting your skill set because every day you'll learn something. So what I did was one of the things I did is in speaking and engaging in people, it's called master the broker call. And a lot of people they make things difficult so they won't have to do the work in essence. And so I told him, I said, well, hey guys, a lot of y'all are scared to make phone calls. So I started a group, and it was called Master the Broker Call, where people would hear me make live calls with brokers. And the same thing that I talked to about Lawrence just a minute ago about sports, I just break the ice. And I say, hey, well, I appreciate your time, but before we go on, I need to ask you a question because I need to know if I can work with you or not. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. What sport, basketball or football? And that changes trajectories because they're like, wow, it's unexpected, right? Or you can call a broker, building a relationship and say, hey, I got a serious question that I need to ask you because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine. But how are you doing today? And you never know something that simple, how it can change the trajectory of their life and yours and the bond that you can create. But you have to reduplicate that, keep relationships formed and bonds formed because you never know when that time comes when you can get an off market deal or when somebody can give you a lead on something. And it's so many ways where you can find out what your true superpower was. So Jordan, you asked me a question, so I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think is your superpower?
I think my superpower is that creative problem solving. Um, mm, if looking at my past and looking at, you know, really the way that I approach all situations is it really comes down to, you know, problem solving and being resourceful, being able to figure out, hey, you know, having a conversation with somebody, you know, working through all the information that's available and coming up with those solutions um, is it's a habit. Like you said, that's my instant go to. You know, I my girlfriends, they get mad at me because that's the first thing is like I'm solving a problem. You know, when they come, they just want to complain or they just want to be upset about something, just, you know, vent. Well, I'm just like, all right, well, there's a solution to this, and we got options A, B, and C, you know, and really it's an automatic reflex. So I'd say that that's my superpower.
All right. Well, I just saw something. So let me ask you this: do you work with numbers in your day job?
Yeah.
All right. So I see you as a numbers guy. I don't know. See, that's a weird superpower of mine is that from listening to you, I can it's something different about you. So what I would say is embrace it, use that superpower because you'll be even more valuable by working with numbers. And what I would say is really hone in on that underwriting, and from that underwriting, don't run away from it because that could be your superpower along with the problem solving because you're always going to need a numbers guy, and you can make a lot of money with being a numbers guy.
Awesome. Awesome.
Any more questions for Derrick?
Oh, I got plenty more. So everybody else should start asking.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
All right. And so you also mentioned, and this is probably a little bit on the other side. You mentioned about your VAs and your company there. Was that company started uh through the partnership with the uncle and the nephew, or was that something that you had going before you met them?
That was something that I got after I met them. So um I tell you, and it's from building relationships. So through another partnership, we used the VA service where we had one lady doing some cold calling for us. So what ended up happening is the owner of the company, he reached back out to me because I had experience with working with VAs and training them. So I failed at working with VAs and I working with VAs, and I've succeeded with working with VAs. And so if you think about it, if you learn how to leverage partners and use them in a correct way where you create win-win situations where you make them better not by telling them, but making suggestions. That is that can do a world of things, man. And so this is why people call me all over the United States when it comes to finding money, when it comes to strategizing, when it comes to fixing problems. It could be a rift in partnerships. And it's like for some reason I don't know what it is, but I just love the development process because I see these things in just talking to people, and I don't know what it is. I just have a love for this. See, I thought it was about the real estate, thought it was about the money, but then when I got into it, I said it's all about the people, and I've learned so much uh, from real estate. Real estate has gotten me into many doors, right? That I would not have got just on my regular W-2. And so it's just I'm at a loss for words, man. I'm at a loss for words, my friend. Just excited to be here too. Very, very excited to be here. But what was your other question?
So I guess I was just interested in setting up how you kind of got to setting up the VAs, because I mean I use VAs as well for my business, and so just wanted to understand kind of more about how you took that on. I've considered it a couple times because I, like you, have had some successes, had some failures, built on those failures and the successes. And I would say that now I've definitely been able to leverage a lot of that information. That now people who come to me and ask, about business or company, I can give them insight and assistance on, obtaining and working and vetting and hiring and all those things. So just wanted to, like I said, understand from your perspective, how you got into it, and overall, like, where you've been able to, I guess, kind of develop that, maybe some cheat codes if you got them.
Yeah. So for me, uh, people would always ask me to train their VAs, right? So, and I would give them tips and techniques, but then it's like you have a recipe, right? And you got it from this famous baker, but when you take the recipe home, it doesn't taste like what the professional baker uh, tastes like, right? But you had the ingredients, so it takes time and experience from just failing. And so what happened, the guy reached out to me and he said, well, hey, you want to partner up? And I thought about it. And so I've had years of experience working with VAs all over, and training and negotiating and coaching. And so I was like, this might be a good idea. So since I can't beat the VAs, I'll buy them. So I bought it. I bought the company. And what that looked like is I have two personal VAs that are attached to me, but then we have 15 others, and then we're looking at actually building a building or purchasing a building where we're located, so we can house more and we can be like a one big call center. And what that looked like is just building a relationship. So me and the manager talked, and he was saying that these are the things that he's looking at, and these are the things that he wanted to do. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, I got some resources and I got some ideas. And so because of that, uh, I've been able to expand, grow. So like my social media, like all of that is taken care of by my team. My video editing, All of that is taken, my digital services, all of that is taken by my team. And so it's just about what do you want as an individual? And so I want greatness. So I'm able to leverage my team's knowledge. And you have to ask questions because sometimes you got to get rid of people too. You got to make some uncomfortable decisions too as well and get rid of people. And I have and did, you know. But you got to kiss a lot of frogs in order to get to your prince or your princess. And I'll give you a scenario why you need to have a good team behind you. And like I pay for my own services. So although I own the company, I still pay for my own services because nobody can ever ask for a discount. Because a lot of people think you have a lot of money when you tell them some of the accomplishments that you've made. And I'm just like your average person. You know, I'm a risk taker. And so I remember I was out in Utah at an event and I was so sick. I hibernated the whole trip and I would go like at the end of the night to the trainings. And I had my team to make a PowerPoint presentation on hard money that I was supposed to be presenting. And when I say I'm so transparent, I'm so transparent. Got on the Zoom, did the presentation. I said, y'all, please forgive me, but I do not feel like being here today. But my word is my bond. And I said that I was going to be here today. And I said, I'll even tell y'all, this is the first time for me looking at this presentation. So I don't know what's in this thing, but I'm going to present. And when I say from that point, I knew that I could trust my team and we solidified that bond. Um, and that was so exciting because I was able to leverage my team's knowledge. They know what my style is and what I require from them. And they were able to create a PowerPoint presentation for me, graphic designs, and all I had to do was just put it up and click a button to get to the next step. So in essence, it's all about the relationships that you build to answer your question. And then we can definitely talk offline if you really got some specified questions to kind of drill down on what you're trying to do.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Another question for Derek, as we run out a little bit out of time. You might have another question. Okay. Well, Derek, man, thank you for the knowledge, man, that you have given us, man. I really think that with this with what you did, man, we have a couple of people who have meetups themselves on here that I think you'd be an excellent guest on their meetups. So you know, I'm looking forward to seeing you on other meetups, man. This is only the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So
It's only the beginning, man.
yeah.
And well, before you begin, you know, guys, and I'm saying this on record. Aaron and I, we met, was it like 4 or 5 years ago? At the multifamily um MFIN.
I don't think I went to that one. We met somewhere else. We didn't meet at the multifamily, but we met at another conference.
So it was an online conference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was MFIN. Yeah, it was.
With Dan, well, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
with
okay,
Dan.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, with Dan, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was thinking about in person. You're right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
it was online. And so man, this guy was just so helpful giving tips and stuff. And so then I get introduced by my mentor to Clubhouse, right? And so then I hear this voice that sounds so familiar. And I was like, because it was a military room. And so you might not even remember this, Aaron, but I come in the room and so everybody's talking, and I think TJ's in there, Fred, Miss Rhonda, a couple other regulars that were in the room. And I go in and I think about 2-3 weeks. And so they finally pulled me up and they said, hey Derek, you might want to put a bio on your on your your profile
Right.
because you look like a bot and people will kick you out and block you.
Yeah.
And so at this time, when I say I had 0 followers, and I said, well, look, guys, y'all gonna have to help me because I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. I'm just struggling to get on here. And so we reconnected. And so, Aaron is part of the reason why I am successful because they helped me get started on the app. And so from that app, it had literally blown me up. And my followers are like crazy. And I've spoken pretty much any and everywhere. But I remember what that group did for me. And I'm not a veteran, but I have a love for those that have gone to war for the country to protect us. So what better way than to use my talents and services to be able to give back. So thank you. I appreciate you for what you did and you just being you, brother.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And Snoop, I see your message, and I'll definitely reach out to you. Because when you're a baby in real estate, man, it can be overwhelming, but the good thing about real estate more than other industries is that you got people to help out. And that's one thing is that I try to help out as many people as I can in my clubhouse room. And it was great seeing Derek on there and just continuing, him just being a moderator and being on there consistently and always giving knowledge. And now seeing him there's different names on there, different pictures he has on his room. But man, I just want to say, man, thanks a lot, man. I mean, it means a lot, and we're here for you to help you out as much as possible along your journey, as you and your partner move forward, man. And I love the possibilities you have moving forward because I mean, you went out fixing flipping, you're doing Airbnbs, you're doing a lot of things. You got the tentacles on, and that's it's great to see. It's great to see. It's great to hear every week how you guys are doing. So, but look, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm not saying we got to leave off the meetup, but start the recording. I just want to say thank you guys once again for coming to the meetup. We have this every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We have a great guest speaker next week. And we will continue to have guest speakers throughout the rest of the year. One thing I want to let everybody know is that the Veterans Transition Speaker Series website is now out. So that will be something that will be coming. I'll be pitching more and more as we go along, but the website is out. The program will not. The program is coming out in November. I mean, in the fall, but the website is out now. So check out the website. We have an IG page also for the Veterans Transition Speaker Series. And a lot more videos on YouTube will be coming. This replay will be on YouTube tonight. So you guys want to see and hear this knowledge from Derek and replay, and it's a must. Please and share with others too. Share with others because I think it's very, very important. Applied knowledge is power. We all can get knowledge, we all can read books, but applied knowledge is power. So, let's do it and apply it, and then reach out. I mean, Derek is really always willing to talk to people. We have some great talks ourselves. We'll have some in the future. You want to reach out to Derek, like Jordan, Derek said with Jordan, please reach out to him. Great guy.
Oh yeah, we already connected on LinkedIn.
Right.
Aaron, what's the name of the website, the Veterans website?
It's fully, so it's the Veterans Transition Speaker Series.com. So
It's veterans, what?
Veteran Transition Speaker Series .com. It's all one word. It's a long one, but I wanted to have it so it can be distinct from everything else. I'll send it to you, Peggy.
I got that .com. Is it .com?
Yes.
Not .org?
No, it's .com.
Okay. I wrote it down.
So let me get off the thing, but I want to say thank you guys once again, and I will see you guys next week. God bless you.